Well, well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us on What's Your Story? I've heard so many different answers from asking what's your story for joining us on What's Your Story? From people telling me about their childhood. So many different answers from asking what's your story for joining us on What's Your Story? From people telling me about their childhood. Many different answers from asking what's your story. On What's Your Story? From people telling me about their childhood. Asking what's your story. I keep hearing a reverb, and I'm not sure why, everyone. So let's see why that might be. Okay, because I'm not on live yet. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's see why that might be. Oh. Okay, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you for joining us on What's Your Story? I've heard so many different answers when I ask, what's your story? From people telling me about their childhood to listening to their accomplishments. It's like they're reading from their resume. There's no right answer. This show is a fascinating study on people and how they interpret the question's meaning. It's also a great reminder that we each have our own unique story filled with ups, downs, tragedy, triumph, and everything in between. Let's be clear. Everyone has their own unique journey, and what they did or didn't do is theirs to experience. There's no judgment here, no debate, just a period of time in someone's life that they've decided to share and give us the opportunity to listen. I call them courageous, confident, and caring people. People who are not afraid to talk about what they're doing or their ideas to help others. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Today, it is actually March 1st in Thailand, and my guest, it's February 28th still. I've known my guest for quite a while, and he's been on my radio show before in Colorado, and it's really, really my pleasure to have him back again because, as we all know, things are forever changing. And the book that he's written has changed many people's lives. And it's given them the opportunity to look at themselves and see what they're capable of. Imagine you're a genie and everything you wish begins to form up right in front of you. First is your thought, and thought creates form. From Ken Elliott's personal experiences and the stories in his book, you will learn actually how your thoughts take form and how to efficiently and simply put it to work for you. This book, Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and there's a part about you don't really need the 3. It's evident that this will change your view of the world. For 20 years, Ken has experienced sending objects via thought with observers confirming their formation in the near physical space around us. I know you may think, oh, come on, Kathy, are you really gonna give us this? Yes, I am. The ability is your birthright and something you expertly do every day. No special abilities are required. We can all do it. Ken Elliott is an award-winning artist and author who has been showcased on numerous media outlets. Ken has learned how to manifest items both big and small, first creating his desires on the other side and watching those thoughts take form in our physical world. Ken is living a life that many call magical and miraculous. over the last 20 years, he's been teaching others these simple techniques so they can create the life that they desire. Manifesting 123 is a results-oriented book using simple techniques. It is filled with amazing stories from people describing their successes using the simple methods taught by Ken. Common comments are, "This is so simple. It just works." The best book I have read on the subject. So, without further waiting on your part, you need to meet Ken. You need to know who he is, and you need to connect with him during the broadcast, after the broadcast, whatever it is. Because if you live in Colorado, he's very accessible and does many things to support the community and the community at large. And he is a fantastic artist, which I have to say, you have to check that out as well. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Ken Elliott. And there you are.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. So great to see you, Ken.
You made all that stuff up, didn't you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, stop it. I did not.
Yeah.
Everything I said was true.
Well, this is an incredible topic: manifesting, wishing, praying. How can we have influence on in our lives? Can we make things happen, or do we have to ask somebody to do it for us? Do we need an intercessor, or can we pray about it? Are we worthy enough? Will the ETs help us? I mean, what is it going to take, right? This all started because I have a very, very gifted friend, Judy Goodman.
Hi, Judy.
JudyGoodman.com. Oh, that'll be fun. She'll get a kick out of that. And I've never met anyone with the array of gifts that she has, and there are more gifts than people talk about or get on Oprah with or write about. I just told you a little demo off camera,
and if you'd like to share that, you can, because wow, you could.
We may get back around to that, but
we'll get back around.
It's not about me; it's about everybody else. But after I'd known her for a while, a friend called me, a stranger actually, and told me some of these things that this woman could do by means of trying to introduce me. And she's trying to figure out, well, why are you talking to her all the time? What's up with you? And she said something that I'd never heard before. And as a kid, I liked ESP and all that paranormal stuff. But she told me that and don't try to do this, because Judy has an array of defenses around her, like we do. We have doors with locks and windows that shut.
Right.
So you just can't waltz in there with this stuff. So don't bother. But she allowed me to do this. This woman said, if you send Judy something in thought, she'll get it. And I went, well, that just sounds kind of silly.
That's silly.
What are you talking about?
That can't happen.
Yeah, that's not ESP or whatever that stuff is. Anyway, so she described that she had done something with Judy, and Judy got this bouquet of flowers. Judy could see it in spirit. She saw it the day it was sent. So I, over 15 years or so, I started sending Judy a lot of objects. I would just think about the thing, and then I'd call her later, and she would describe the thing that I sent. And I had 100% accuracy rate on this. And I send her a few wackadoodle things too. you just couldn't guess. They were just like pretty well put together strange things, and she got those anyway. But I didn't really do anything with it because I'm not a special person. I didn't write a book, and I'm not gifted, right? So I just goofed around with it because I'm a goof. I'm just like regular folks.
That's right.
And I'm not hyper brilliant. Well, thank you. You know me very well. Yeah. So I'm not a hyper brilliant intellect. My mind works, not all the time in a thorough way, but nonetheless, I get by in the world. And that's more than enough to do this. I'm the perfect example of you can be average and have spectacular results. You can be below average and you can still have spectacular results, whatever average and below average is. If you if you're thinking something, it's building. Now, so I didn't get what's going on. I'm sending things to Judy Goodman at a distance. Well, I'll tell you one of those stories later, and pretty
Yeah.
close to the front here because I want to get people
Yeah.
involved. Because
Yeah.
you won't believe this. It just, just go grab people because I'm going to give you a story like you never heard before about what thoughts do. Now, a lot of people talk
Yes.
about manifesting. We got books stacked up to here about
Mm-hmm.
manifesting. And I am a big fan of what everybody says, but here's the bottom line. If you didn't know how water comes out of the faucet, it would look like magic to you.
Right.
And it makes a difference when you know that the faucet's hooked up to the water plant,
Mm-hmm.
and when you hit the handle, water comes out, and that's just the way it is. When
Right.
you're manifesting, see, we don't know how that works, but you're
Right.
going to learn that today. It's going to make all the difference. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
make all the difference in the world. And let me give you a big picture. When you think about all the things that mankind have invented since time, that's
Yeah.
more than 3 or 4 widgets.
Wow.
Everything that's running around the earth. It was a thought first, and we're going to
Yes.
talk about what those thoughts could do. And
Yes.
this is really 1 + 1 = 2 stuff. We're not going to go airy fairy here. Um, I'm
Mm.
sending things not just to Judy, but I can send things to other people, and they can watch it begin to appear on the other side, much like you would think a genie would. You see those cartoons, a genie does this,
Yes.
and the smoke turns into a thing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. But we're not gifted enough to see it. But it doesn't
Right.
matter. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you believe this stuff or not. And you've used
Yeah,
this
it
before.
doesn't.
You've done some of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about, your thoughts create. I think people say it and they don't really at times believe it. They
Oh,
maybe know it to be true, but they've
yeah.
never really tried it, and it is really the
Yeah.
truth. This
Yeah.
is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to put something out. I had a quiet moment, and I'm just trying to think of the biggest possible picture in this realm.
Okay.
If somebody were to tell you that if you think something starts to build and it can build anything, that's pretty darn important.
Yeah.
That's like really, 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 really important.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm trying to put that into a framework. So I pull back and I'm thinking of just the big picture stuff. And this is what I came up with. And if you can add one thing to this, let me know and I'll put it on the list. These are our 3 great gifts. Number one, this has nothing to do with the 1, 2, 3 in the book. Number
Yeah.
one, we have life. We have the gift of life.
Yes.
Number two, we can make life. We can make children.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for number
Right.
three?
Yes, I'm ready for number 3.
And it's all about making. We can make anything. We can make anything. That covers everything I can think of. Surely there's something else. I'm not a professor, but that covers a lot of bases. And that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about.
Good. Well, what makes this book different than any of the other stacks that you were talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
what
Yes.
makes it different? Because I really would encourage people to go to your local bookstore and have a look. Because sometimes when we talk about manifesting, it's
Mm-hmm.
so technical. People want to talk
Oh,
about the science and all of that, and I know you haven't done that. You've made it
no.
pure and simple for people, and you
Yeah.
actually have on Facebook your manifesting 1, 2, 3 web or site where people come in and talk about, wow, you made it so
Yeah.
simple for me that I'm
Yeah.
actually creating my reality now.
We've been doing it anyway, but we didn't know it.
Know it, right?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
If things aren't going the way you'd like for them to go, you can change that. Now, let me put in a disclaimer right away. There is a thing called destiny, I believe. There's
Yes,
this thing we
yes.
came here to do,
Mm.
and I'm not going to be Kathy Bacon
Yeah.
living in another country. I'm going to be Ken, some guy in Colorado, and I'm kind of in that spot. Now I can move around, but I'm still going to be this guy named Ken. That's pretty much that.
That's
And
right.
I'm going to encounter certain people, and I'm going to break things and bump my leg into things, and I'll have some successes and some highs and
Right.
lows. And a lot of that is maybe what I signed up for. Maybe it's destiny. Maybe it's random, but I have a
Right.
choice to go through these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other beautiful thing about manifesting, if there's something that's currently in your life that you're not happy with, you can probably change it.
Yes.
It's probably not destined that you have that job job that you don't
Yes.
like with that boss you don't like. You
Yes.
you may have an enormous amount of options if you want to hit that switch.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're thinking is making things all the time, all the ding dong day. It's making whatever we're repeating and thinking.
Right.
And by the way, if you load it up with emotion, like, well, I hate that, or I'm scared of that, or I love this, it it turbocharges it, energizes it, it multiplies it, it makes it exponentially more powerful, this thought, and more efficient to bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get really, really smart about this before this is all over.
I know. I can see that. I love that you make it easy and, you know, for real people. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
be a rocket science to know this stuff or learn
no,
this stuff.
no,
It's real life, real
yeah,
people. This is what you can do. This is the gifts you were given.
yes. And
So
back to your
let's,
question, what makes this book different is because
yeah,
it tells you how it works. It
yeah,
doesn't tell you best practices to
right.
increase your odds of getting a result. It says, if you push this button, it's hooked up to something, and this is why it works when you push the button. That makes a difference. So
Does
this
make a
is not
difference.
wishing or hoping.
Hmm.
This is, you go up to the elevator, you hit the button, you want a result, you expect something's going to happen. That's what
Right.
this is. You know that the elevator's wired up to that button
Yeah.
somehow. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're saying, which I heard you say about our thoughts, they form up instantly
Yeah.
when we think them.
They
I
start to
mean,
take
right
form.
away, they start to take form out here.
Hmm. Hmm.
How does that, tell us how that works?
Okay. Um, People like to talk about quantum, this and that. We don't fully understand all of that stuff.
No, I
But
don't.
I did get to, um, we'll call it a very real, I was on the other side. I was on the other side.
Yep.
And I was in this completely dark space, and I'm just relaxing, like I'm on a lazy boy, but there's nothing there. And
Yeah.
people have these epiphanies where they know everything.
Right.
I was in a space where that could happen, but I didn't care to know anything.
Right.
It didn't matter. What I was about to do have any didn't matter what I did.
Right.
I was surrounded. I could detect these particles, kind of like that in tapioca. There's those little things in there, and you can't quite
Yeah,
see
that
them
look
all.
like fish
Yeah,
eggs.
yeah. Thank you. And I could detect these particles, and I knew it wasn't a realization. I just knew that if I thought of anything, it would react with those particles and it would create it.
Mm.
And I was in this void that was infinite out in all directions. So it's kind of like if I came up on you, Kathy, and
Right.
you're reclining in this void and you're thinking about, as I was doing, a new kind of up and down, a new kind of light and dark, a new
Wow.
kind of biology, a new kind of land or not land.
Right.
And I'm thinking about these things. Did I
Wow.
tell you earlier that I'm just not the brightest bulb in the world? Well, I couldn't think of what those things would be, but I'm thinking about them. And I realize if I hit the switch, if I make the thought, if I make the command, every thought's a command, by the way, it
Right.
would create that thing instantly. So if I came up on you and I saw you thinking, I would get as far away from you as I possibly can because you might be one of those people who come up with this "let there be light" thing, and I'll be
Yeah.
obliterated. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a
Right.
very godlike kind of thing that we're endowed with.
Yeah.
You mentioned the birthright. We are endowed with the ability to think of something, and it will start creating the idea.
Yeah.
That's that gift. We can make life. We can create anything, and we are given life and this or these powers, these gifts. Call them
Right.
gifts.
Yeah.
Um, so I was talking with William Buhlman, Buhlman. He's one of the premier out-of-body guys in the world.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
His Yeah, his books are, I think, are 9 languages now.
Yeah.
And we're pals. I was doing his website, so I get a little inside ball. He's got 10,000 letters from people all over the world that are going out of
Wow.
body. They go to the other side on purpose or accidentally, or they have these
Hmm.
vivid dreams where they're flying around, or they see grandma and grandpa, and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm.
it's real. It's real. And so I knew a lot about that. And we were just talking, guy talk. And he made this offhand comment that I had never heard him say anything about, or he didn't put it in his books. He said, sometimes I go to the other side and I see the things that I've written down on my wish list. They're just arrayed over there. They're just lined up over there in various
Wow.
stages, in various stages of formation.
Right.
And it was that thing again, like, what? What?
Yeah.
What? Come on, William. You got to stop. You can't have another drink or something. What are you doing there? What are you
Right.
going on?
Right.
What are you talking about? And I have a lot of gifted friends and hear a lot of metaphysical things, but I'd never
Mhm.
heard that. I said, now tell
Right.
me again very carefully. What are you talking about? He said, I'll have some things on my wish list or a vision board. That's what people do when they manifest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And the idea is you put those things on a wish list or vision board
Yes.
and touch them throughout the day or every day.
Hmm.
And it increases your chances of these things coming into your life. They call it the law
Right.
of attraction. Law of attraction.
Yes.
That's what they call it.
Yes.
That's the
We all
secret.
know that, right? Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, the law of attraction is a really good phrase, but at the core of it, if you don't have a thought, there's no law of attraction. Number
Right.
one. Okay, so the thought is core, and then things attract to that. But guess what? People started writing me, and they were waking up in the morning, and sometimes they call me a little too early in the morning, or I get these emails, and they woke up and they don't have any more stress. They woke up and they've never been so happy. They woke up and something physically has changed that's very advantageous to them.
Right.
And there was no law of attraction of that. They woke up with it. Nobody sent them a box.
Right.
They didn't see a movie. They didn't go to a seminar. They woke up with this thing.
Wow.
And sometimes it's a side effect of what they were doing. They didn't even ask for it. It was a side effect of other things they were doing. So anyway, going
Right.
back to William, uh, so he said, if I have something on my wish list, and he's a list making guy, and he would tell me
Yeah.
what's on the list, and they would all happen.
Right.
And he said, if I've had it on the list for just a short time, what's happening over there? It looks like this puff of smoke. And when he's out of body, when he's on the other side, in the spirit world, in the astral plane, there's a lot of things over there.
Right.
So if
Right.
he hadn't been working on it for a long time, it's just a wisp of smoke. But he has a knowing over there, and he can identify that wisp of smoke would be something he's working on. You name it, whatever it is.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
could be a pen and pencil set. It could be a trip to Disneyland. It could be anything.
Right.
And then, and he was working on China at the time. He told me this, and he'd been working on China for a number of weeks. I think it was only 6 weeks though, and he might have used that example, and I'll use it here. I think he could see China forming up, look like architecture,
Wow. Wow.
and it was taking on more solidity and
Hmm.
color. Now we had a lot of things in between. We'll just play with the China thing, and
Okay.
I'm not trying to be accurate here. He did end up in China. I'm just saying that this is what was
Yeah.
happening over there. Um, I don't want to misstate him. We'll just call it a van. The thing he
Yeah.
really wants is a van, and he's
Okay.
had that van on his wish list now for a long time, 6 months, 6 weeks, whatever. And
Right.
he would go over there on occasion, and that van is getting more and more solid. It's getting more 3D. It's getting, full color over there on the
Right.
other side. And
Wow.
you can just he just knows it's about to go over to the physical. Well, you would think, well, how am I going to pay for that? How could that possibly happen?
Yes.
I've learned from the stories that come in from readers. Go to that website,
Mm. 1, 2, 3.
manifesting123.com. Yeah,
Yes.
over 200 stories. People are given cars. Their car gets hit by hail. We had one of those. It got
Right.
completely wiped out. Insurance company got them really close to buying a 3 generations up car. They were happy that they lost the other one. They got a new used
Right.
car.
Yeah.
Cars happen in a lot of ways. A lot of things in life happen in a lot of ways. So it doesn't matter that he can see that fan becoming physical. It's going to happen, and it's
Right.
his fan because he specified the red one, and it's the red one.
And it's the
Um,
red one.
yeah. And I remember he said this offhand comment because we went through this a couple times. And I said, all right, so the long you just touch this wish list every day, and sometimes because you're an out of body adept, you can go over there and see like the factory. He said, there's no
Yeah.
factory; it's just lined up over there. I said, wow, that is fascinating. I hung up the phone and I did nothing with it. It was just a nice piece
Mhm.
of data. Now,
Right.
some people might go out and make a Brooklyn Bridge. Some people might make a Empire State Building. Some people might make something bigger than the Empire State Building. I
Right.
just didn't do anything with it, but it was a very interesting piece of information.
Right.
But I did call Judy Goodman because she goes out of body every night and she gets around and I can check things out with her. It's like having
Yeah.
your own, yeah, yeah.
I
So
wish you'd
Judy
come visit me in Thailand.
probably has. Judy Goodman Detective Service, I think.
Yes,
So,
please.
yeah,
Come on
yeah,
over. Judy,
yeah.
where
So,
are you?
so yeah, so it's kind of like number, please. Would you check this out for me,
Yes,
please? And
yes,
and she was, and
yes.
what she said was, I said, William told me this thing. She knows William. He told me how your thoughts take form. That if you
Right.
think these things and you repeat it, it goes from a puff of smoke into something that gets more and more solid. Is that true? She said, yeah, that's how it works. I said, well, why didn't you ever tell me? Because you never asked. In parentheses, grasshopper.
Yeah,
So,
grasshopper, right.
so now I had confirmed, and let me say this in the simplest possible terms. I had confirmed a secret to the universe, a key to the kingdom. And what did I do with it? Nothing. Because I'm not worthy. I'm not brilliant. I'm not special, right? I'm just a guy in Colorado trying to get the bills paid, make some art, and have a nice time. So I didn't do anything with it, but I continued to, talk with them back and forth about this thing, and
Right.
and I started sending Judy things in thought, right, for years, and she was kind enough to play along because she knew I was going to write this book one day. If it
Yes.
took forever, which it damn
Yeah.
near did, I finally got off my bottom and wrote the book. And wow, was that a big thing to put out? A big way to put out in the world. It's This is not my book. This is not my info. I'm passing on info from people who see this and play around with this. Don't play around. They can
Right.
see this over there. And
Right.
now people are getting this information. Say, I'll give it a try, but don't tell anybody I'm doing this. And then they let
Exactly.
me know because they get these crazy good results.
Mhm.
I love these closet businessmen that do this stuff. And they come back and say, I
Yeah.
got this deal that wouldn't go down. It's a multi-million-dollar deal. We've been trying to do this for a year and a half, and I did this for
Yeah.
a few weeks, and it just kind of went kaboom in a
Right.
weird way. It's the weird way. It's the way they didn't
Yeah.
expect. I love
Right.
that part. Well, that's what goes
Yes.
on. So, oh, it just makes my
Yeah.
head itch to think about it. So,
I love you,
so,
Ken.
I'm having so much fun with you.
I
So,
know.
well, we got this audio video. We got to make this thing fun because it is.
We got to make it is fun. Yes,
Yeah,
and it's fun to hear that, you know, this is not rocket science, people. Like
no,
what you say and put out into the world manifests if you just keep on it, right? Like,
yeah,
remember the time that I wanted the new Volkswagen? And I said to you, I'm
okay,
manifesting this Volkswagen. I want this Volkswagen so bad. I want this Volkswagen. And then, so I'd see him on the road, right? That's what happens. You'd see him
mhm,
on the road all the time. You'd go to a, dealer and have a look and you'd talk to them. And then one day I decided I didn't really need it right now and I didn't really want it. And poof, the whole thing was gone. I didn't see him
mhm,
on the road anymore.
mhm, mhm.
It was the weirdest thing. But
You
it's
didn't see the
true
ads on
about our,
television anymore.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, our
yeah,
thoughts really do create our
yeah,
reality.
yeah. There's this thing that happens when this thing starts to take form over there, and
Right,
sometimes things happen fast, looks miraculous, but
right,
most of the time it takes a little time. It can
right.
be years. I
Hmm.
have things that have been out there for I don't know 4 or 5 years now. I have other
Right,
things that happen. I think of it, and there's the coincidence the phone rings. But
right.
most of these things take a matter of months and things like that. And there's this thing I'll call the bleed over. So if something's getting really, really solid physical over there,
Right.
you start to that its presence becomes known sometimes in
Hmm.
advance, just a
Right.
little bit. It's just like this.
Hmm.
It's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I started sending these things to Judy, and she got them every time. And there were a couple of times when Judy had a birthday, and we're sitting at a table, and I would blab on about this before I wrote the book,
Right.
and I'd say, well, they'd say, well, let's send Judy something on her birthday, and so we would, and then pick up the phone, and she'd tell us what it was we sent, and we'd all go ha ha ha,
Wow.
and then we finish our lunch, wouldn't do anything about it, right?
That's
Let's
so
not do
funny.
that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's okay to do things for yourself. This is
Hmm.
my wish for everyone, that you live comfortably, that you're healthy, that you live
Mm.
comfortably, that you don't have financial concerns. And there's a lot of ways financial things can be taken care of without money. There's equivalent of
Right.
money. It's
Exactly.
not punch 'em. Yeah. And that if you have all those things, then you're in a really good position to help other people.
Yeah.
You don't have three jobs. You're not working all the time. You can stop and help someone. You can do something beyond yourself, and you're comfortable and in a good place where you can do that, and it's not a problem for you to do it. And that will
Right.
fill your cup. If you have kids, that fills your cup.
Yep.
Sometimes it drains your cup, but it fills your cup.
Yes.
If you
Right.
don't have children, being in service, but being
Hmm.
in service is one of the things that fills your cup. Kids, that relationships. So all right. So I've been doing these things, sending a lot of this stuff, and And you know what? I had a clever moment. It took a long time, but I had a clever moment. And I called Judy up and I said, "Are you busy?" She said, "No. What you got?" And I said, "Well, I want to send you something." I said I had an idea. She said, "Oh,
Right.
just one?" She knows me. She knows
She
me.
knows you well.
Yeah, yeah. I had an idea. Yeah, it took a while,
Yeah,
but I got an
one,
idea.
Ken? Ken,
Yeah,
are you sure
one.
about that?
I got this idea. I got this. Yeah. So I said, "Have you got a chair? You're in your study?" She said, "Yeah." "You got a chair there?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to send you something in thought, but I want you to stay on the phone, okay? We're going to do this in real time. I'm not going to call you later. We're going to do this in
Yeah.
real time. This is a
Okay.
test." Okay. So I'm an artist, so I got to come up with some wacky thing, right? Now, the
Okay.
reason for that really is I just don't want to send her a pen because
Right.
there's a lot of people might be thinking of pens.
You're right.
So I got to come up with something that's not out there in the zone.
Right.
So I'm going to send her a 5 foot tall Daffy Duck. Now, here's the thing about thought. You don't have to have a vision board of this. You don't have to
No.
have a schematic.
Right.
So Daffy Duck, I have a pretty good idea what the Daffy Duck looks like, but it's not clear. Daffy Duck.
Right.
I
Right.
think it's got black on the top and a yellow bill and
Yeah, yeah.
stripy. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Five
Yep.
5 foot tall Daffy Duck, and he's got yardsticks, those wooden flat yardsticks. He's got a board like
Yes.
that, and at the top of that is this horizontal another board, and on the front in red lipstick it says love on it. So here's Daffy Duck with his handmade wooden sign, and he's 5 foot tall, and I'm going to go put him in the chair brains, with my brains. Almost forgot the word.
Okay.
So I'm working on this. I don't
Yes.
know how to do this. Do you know how to do this? I don't know how to do this. And I don't think myself an explorer here. I'm just some guy trying to take this game a little further, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so
want
I'm
to figure this
concentrating.
out.
Yeah, I'm concentrating really, really hard on this Daffy Duck thing. My God, remember that stuff we talked about: emotions, fear,
Yes.
and
Mm.
love. No, I'm not using. I'm just grinding away on this thing. And a Daffy Duck in the chair with the and the lipstick, and after 2 minutes, I'm just all done. And I said, all right, it broke the silence because she's just waiting there on the phone. And I said, all right, as I said so many times, okay, so what have you got? What'd you get? She raised her voice. Now we're pals. We hadn't been pals for a long, 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 long time, forever and ever and ever in this world. But, I hadn't heard this voice before, and it spooked me.
Mm.
She said, are you trying to send me something? I said, yeah, I'm working my fanny off on it. That's exactly what I said. This is all burned in. And she said, well, you have a wimpy thought. You get a wimpy result. You need to get on this, man. You're just making smoke in the chair. You need to get on this, you know? I exaggerated that on this just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it scared me because I'm wasting her time. I'm a failure. I'm weak. And God knows what else is reading between the lines, you know? And it spooked the hell out of me. Now, here's something, and she does things on purpose. She raised her voice on purpose. She pushed back at me on purpose because she said, oh, Ken, you're so smart and so clever and good looking. You're starting to make something happen. And you just keep at it, and you can do
Right.
anything in your life you want to do, you know? And I would have just taken a smoke break or something. I don't smoke, but I would have done something else because I got this.
Right.
I'm not going
Right.
to work on this anymore. It's hard.
Forget it. Yeah, that's
I ought to
right.
take a break. I'm going to have a
Yeah.
chocolate sundae or so. I'll call you Thursday. No, she scared me. She scared me. And, but she said something, but she intimidated me, so I didn't catch it. I caught it later, much later. She said, you're just making smoke in the chair. Now, William Buhlman told me that thoughts start to make like a vapor or smoke. And if you stay with it, they get super solid and they come into the real world. She told me it was already working in 2 minutes, but she scared me. And so I doubled
Yeah.
down and I went right back to it. I didn't hear that smoke. All I heard was I was a belly flop in this thing. I was just a failure as a person and wasting my friend's time, and which I was. But I'm learning something incrementally, and I'm trying to get it to you in a little faster way than I learned it. And so I worked on this real hard for another 4 minutes. I didn't think I had it in me, and I was really jamming on this thing. And finally, I had nothing left. I remember the phrase I used, put it in the book. I'm just toast. I don't have anything left. What have you got? And I'll never forget what she said. Are you trying to send me a cartoon character? That was a Hollywood moment. Got this lump in my
Yeah.
throat, you know. And yeah. And she said, well, there's this little humany 2.5 foot tall thing in the chair, and he's got little skinny arms and little skinny legs, and he's got cartoon colors on him. So I figure he's a cartoon character, and he's got a stick in his hand. 6 minutes, and I'm 21 miles away
Yeah.
with no how to do it manual, and
Right.
this wimpy little Daffy Duck is starting to materialize in her study.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That was fantastic. And I thanked her and I got off the phone and I thought about it and forgot about it. Well, I didn't forget about it, but I didn't do anything else with it. You know, what I'm trying to get across here is, as you said, and that's why I redid the book, put a new forward in so I could say it's like
Yes,
you're a
please.
genie. It's like you're a genie. And if you
Yeah.
start to think of it, it starts to make it. And that's
Right.
just the most craziest, upside down, and nuttiest thing you've ever heard. But we all have this story where we're thinking of somebody and they call. All right, maybe that's
Yeah.
ESP. We all
Yeah.
have this thing where we think about the thing and think about the thing, and somebody goes ding dong and they give you the thing.
Right.
Uh, or we earn it or whatever it is. But when you're thinking of something, it's like you're stacking bricks. And if you
Hmm.
stack bricks, they're going to start making something.
Right.
It's not
Right.
just going to be a mess. And 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 this is the number one, the 1, 2, 3. When you're thinking things, it starts to make them. Um,
Mhm.
and that's all it does.
And
And it does
sometimes
it.
don't you notice sometimes that things happen in your favor around you? It seems like they're
Yeah.
always kind of happening around you. And when your
Yeah.
eyes are wide open,
Hmm.
you can really notice just the little things that are trying to get your attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's an interesting thing to me because you could go through life not paying attention at all and always
Yeah.
complaining and always bitching and always being upset, being a victim that,
Yeah.
nothing ever goes my way. I'm a piece
Yeah.
of crap. I'm this, I'm that. But when you start to really see and you start to
Mm-hmm.
create those thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
you see it happening all
That's
around you
true.
and for
That,
you,
yeah. Yeah. And I'll
whether to
offer
learn
this.
or not.
Yeah. And I agree with all of that. It can get in the way of making things, though, because it sounds hard.
Right,
And
right.
this book is simpler than that.
Yeah.
This book is
Awesome.
simpler than that. So you don't have to
Yay.
be in a zone. You don't have to be in a state. You don't have to be a good person. You don't have to be the Pope. You can do this in
That's
jail. You know, whoever,
right.
wherever you are, your thoughts will make things. They will just make things. And that's all they do. It's like this.
Yeah,
This is going to be a gravity demonstration. And if I lift this up, it's going to go to the ground.
that's
But
right.
I'm not going to do that. But
No,
we're all expert at gravity.
that's right.
And we're all expert at our thoughts making things because that's what they do. And gravity doesn't care what you're going to do with gravity. It just pulls things to the ground. And your
Mhm.
thoughts don't judge what you make. They just start to make them.
Right.
So you want to do the number one or the one, two, three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It just keeps getting better, gang. It just keeps getting better. Okay. So you're like a genie, and William and Judy, and I've demonstrated this many, many times, although I couldn't see it,
Right.
but they can.
Right.
If I get a thought and I repeat it, if I concentrate on it really hard, it'll make Daffy Duck. I am a Daffy Duck making machine. I'm telling you.
Love
um,
it.
yeah. Uh, so if you have a thought and you really grind away on it, which is hard, it will make
Yes.
the thought
Mhm.
because thought will do it. There's an easier way to do this. If, as Judy taught me way back, and that's a whole other story, which I completely ignored the first time I ever manifested something. Um, Another one at a distance. If you have a thought, what is something you would like to bring into your life, Kathy? What would that be?
What would I like to bring into my life? Freedom to
Freedom.
freedom. Let's just say freedom. That can go in many directions.
Okay. Um,
Freedom
um,
to freedom to live a life of travel, love,
okay.
and yeah, just
That's what we're going to do. Okay.
simple. Living a simple
Yeah.
life, I think.
Okay. So that's the thought, just as you said it. And if you express that thought every day, and if you say these words afterwards, you say, "I'm so grateful for this."
I'm so grateful. Yes.
Yeah. There's two great engines in the world. One is love and one is fear.
Hmm.
And if you put love behind a thought, it
Yes.
will give it more power and it will create the thing more efficiently.
Right.
Now, here's the bonus. This is unbelievable. Now, somebody gave us this gift. We can think these things. It interacts with nothing at all, or it interacts with those little particles that I imagined, whatever it is. Your thoughts will start to take
Right.
form from that thought, which sounds
Yes.
ridiculous, but my friends can watch it happen in real
Mhm.
time. So let's just
Yes.
not throw that out the window.
Yeah, let's not.
Okay. So if you put gratitude, if you put love, this happy emotion behind that thought, it will
Yes.
start to build it a little quicker than me going Daffy Duck, Daffy Duck, Daffy Duck. That's a very inefficient way to do something, and I can't keep that up all day or every day, nor would I want to. But if I say it just like you did, and I say I'm so grateful, but we can do even better. And this sometimes it just really floors me to be able to tell people this, and they haven't heard this before. I feel it. It's such an amazing gift.
Mm.
Your thoughts can make the future. I say that like a song. Somebody should make a song out of that. Your thoughts can make the future.
I'm writing it down.
So if you want to be really, 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 really smart about this, Kathy,
Hmm. Yes.
then I'm glad you write it down. Then
And you can write it anywhere, wherever you guys are. I wrote it on a napkin. Just go ahead and write it down right now.
yeah, yeah,
Your thoughts can make the future.
yeah, and yeah. So let's take action on that. Now that
Yeah.
we've got the tattoo. So
Yes, we do.
So let's take what you said, and here's the number one of the one, two, three.
Right.
You're sitting in your couch, a comfortable chair, and imagine you're in your future in your chair,
Okay.
and you can feel that chair. You rub the arms of that chair, and you're breathing in the air in your future, which is an interesting concept. And you
Yes.
can hear the birds outside, or the traffic, or the whatever it is. And and you say what you said. I'm in my future, and I dot 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 dot. Give a little time. You don't have to see anything because you're observing that this has already happened in your future.
Okay.
And you say, I'm so grateful.
So great.
And you just, as I like to say in the book, you just let it sink in like cream in a coffee.
Yes.
You're so grateful for that. It starts to build more
Mhm.
efficiently and more powerfully than just trying to make it happen.
Right.
Um, so when you do vision boards and wish list, what you're doing is you're adding bricks. You're making layers and layers of intention. When you
Mhm.
say the thing, and you can have the vision boards and wish lists, but if you're in
Yes.
your future, sitting in your future, and you observe, I'm in my future. This is my number one priority. I'm in my future, in my chair here. I can feel this chair. I have perfect health. I'm so grateful.
So
Now,
grateful.
I've come across people whose health was not perfect and it was getting less perfect. And I'm not here to tell you to drop everything and do this and quit seeing your doctors and go nuts, because that would be
Right.
nuts. But
Right.
there have been some people on very minor things and some things that were rather larger than minor,
Right.
and they got a result. Now, we'll use an example. Someone had a bum leg, and now the leg is a lot more usable. And I asked them, and this wasn't an example, it was actually a little more profound than that. But I
Right.
asked them, well, your leg is better. Uh, what were you manifesting? Well, I was manifesting perfect health, and my leg was perfect. I said, well, how do you feel about it? They said, you know what? This is perfect for me. I'm good with this. I'm great with this. I like this result. I'm fine with this. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect is relative. Perfect is relative. Okay. All right. So number one, you imagine you go in your future. Where would you like to visit next, Kathy?
Well, I can tell you, I'd like to live by the water.
Okay.
That's what I'd
So
like to
it
do.
all right. So in your future, you are in a chair, on a
Yes.
couch, looking out the window, or in a beach chair, whatever it is, and you are there. It is. There is the water. You're
Yes.
looking at the water. Now, in this first instance, we didn't say you had to be an artist, you had to be a creative, you had to imagine all this stuff. You're just making an observation in your own house that things are
Hmm.
good. Now, in
Yep.
this one, we're going to be more specific. It's going to be by the water. So you are in a position in your future where there is the water. I would offer that you may not want to look behind you and see what you're in. I don't know if it's a home
Mm.
by the water, a vacation by the water, or a boat in the water, or a dock
Right.
off in the water, whatever.
Hmm.
But if you want to be specific, your thoughts are very, 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 very literal over there, and they will make exactly what you think.
Mm. Right.
And
Right. Right.
this isn't a Mother May I thing. When you say anything, it is a literal command.
Right.
So if you want to type the letter five on your computer, all it's going to do is make fives. Five,
Right.
five, 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 five. It's going to do nothing else
Hmm.
but fives. And that's what your
Hmm.
thoughts do. And I've observed this over there when I'm on the other side.
Right.
So if you want to add detail, put it in.
Right.
Um, but it's smart, usually smart, not to have so much detail because you're going to specify a result. And
Yes.
there's an amazing number of cool ways you can be by the water.
Yeah.
Now you didn't say if
But
you were living by the water,
I
is
think I'd like to
visiting
live
living? Okay,
live by the
so living.
water
You're
in a
living.
house
Yeah.
of some
Okay.
sort.
All right. Yeah. So you have a house that's in proximity to the water,
Yep.
and and we don't know what it's going to be. It's a dog house. It's a boat house. It's a three-story house. I don't know.
Right.
But if you put detail in and you repeat it, then it will build that.
Okay.
Now, here's an important thing. You're building this in the future. So don't come back into this. our regular world, and say, well, that's not possible. That can't happen. Have you seen real estate over
It's
there?
over.
Oh
It's
my God.
over.
No, it can't happen. No, there's no way. There's no way
Over.
that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, it can. And
Mm.
there's a lot of ways it can. Yes, it can. There's the equivalent of you having a house on the water, which
Yes.
means, and you have friends all over the United
Mhm.
States.
Yeah.
You have a house. You don't have a house in Colorado, but when you're with me, you have a house in Colorado. You and your
Right.
husband
Right.
have a house in Colorado.
Right.
You didn't buy it. You don't own it. When you're here, it's your house. It's the equivalent of having a house in Colorado.
Exactly. Exactly.
So there it is. So we don't
Mm.
know how this house on the near the water can happen,
Right.
but it will.
It can, and it
Yeah,
will.
it will. Well, if you start manifesting it, and you're in your future, and you express this, and you see this, and you're so
Right.
grateful, it will start to build.
So
And it can happen.
grateful.
It can happen with tomorrow's face call from somebody on Facebook that saw this, or
Right.
3 years down the road. I don't know. I don't know. But that's why I get these stories back, and we just scream at each other. That's not possible. Oh my God! No. Yeah, it's fabulous. Fabulous.
What about now? We have about 10 minutes left, Ken, but I want to get some
Okay.
more info from you about like what's number two
Okay. Number two
and why don't
is
we need three? That's my
yeah.
question.
Okay. Number two is worry.
Worry.
And what is worry? Worry is another word for fear.
Yes.
So if I'm, oh my God, is that cancer? Oh my God, is that? Always point to a different part of my body. It is, isn't it? Oh my God,
It smells like cancer.
yeah. If you're up in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
you know, and
Worry.
and and there's that elbow thing is killing you, and you're not going to the
Right.
doctor. You're just not going to go to the doctor.
No.
Arm fall off, then I go to the doctor. No, 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 no. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're worried that you might
Mm.
have cancer of the whatever that part of your body is called. You know,
Yes. Wrist.
cancer of the wrist. Yes, very common cancer. With cancer. Yeah. So, and you're worrying yourself sick about it. Guess what's
Mm.
happening? Your thoughts don't judge. So they are merrily working overtime because you're loading this up with the other powerful
Ah.
uh, emotion, love or fear. So your thoughts going, okay, I can do that. Give me some emotion. Oh yeah. Oh, fear, love. I don't care. Whatever. We're on it because
Right.
you want. You keep talking
Yeah.
about it, so we're going to make it for you. You
That's
know,
right.
it's like gravity. It just does it
Yeah.
anyway. It doesn't think about it. It's just going to do
Doesn't
it.
think about it. That's
Yeah.
right.
All right. So we have to take action on this thing. A lot of people have all kinds of different things. What I was given, it just came right in. It somehow got right into that little pea brain of mine, and I was given this full blown thought, and it was take action on those worries, take action on those concerns. What the heck does that mean? And then I got this little paragraph thing. So here's a demo. So you're concerned about this. It's 3 a.m. Turn on the light, get the phone, get a piece of paper, and we're going to make an action list. 9 o'clock in the morning, we're going to take action on this worry. I can't tell you to stop worrying about it. Not possible. I can't tell
It's
you to
not
stop worrying
possible.
about the
Right.
width that's due tomorrow.
Yeah.
Number one, 9 o'clock, call the doctor, get an appointment. Number two, if you have to, go to some reliable stores, the Mayo Clinic or something, and find out about this wrist mumbo jumbo thing. Get an idea. Chances are they don't say 100% of the people who have that pain right there, their hand falls off. That's probably not going to happen.
That's
You might get
right.
some relief on that because they're tied on pretty good.
That's
So
right.
you can make a little list of those kind of things. If it's a job, you have a list of all those things. And you know what? That's all you can do. It's 3 a.m. for crying out loud. And when you get up in the morning, ding, ding, run that list. You may not get all these things done, but take action on that worry. Will it make you feel better? It actually will.
Mhm.
Boy, you took action. You didn't just sit around and go, oh, you're doing
But
something.
and there's nothing worse than hearing people complain and complain and complain about this worry and not
Yeah,
taking action. I mean,
yeah.
I have really I'm really bad about that because I have little like zero tolerance of it because like if I'm sick or there's
Hmm.
something not right,
Yeah,
I am going in because I want to live a happy, healthy life. I don't want anything in the way. So I'm in there. And
yeah,
so when other people just sit around and complain about their aches and pains, I mean, I just want to turn my ears completely off because I mean, it's terrible. I have no,
Yeah.
I mean, because we have the ability to get what we need in the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
We need a
Yeah.
doctor, we need a lawyer, whatever we need to make those worries go away, it's right there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard if you don't have the money,
I
or
know it's
you
true.
can't find the rent. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
And
I
I,
understand that.
and you're a good person. But I'm not like you. It has to hit me about 3 or 4 times. I'll go, oh, I'll have,
It's the same.
I'll take
It's the same
I'll
with my
take action
husband.
on it.
It's the
Yeah.
same with
Yeah.
my husband. Why should I? Doctor? What's a doctor?
Guy thing.
What?
Guy thing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
I
It's
know.
true.
Because we're smarter than you guys.
Oh,
And when it blows up, we'll do something.
that's right. That's
We
right.
want things to blow up first. That's what
First, that's
we want
right.
things to blow. Yeah, I like that blow it up thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of wired that way. All right, so that's
So
the number two. It's so simple.
why don't we need number three? What was number three, and
Number
why don't we need it
We've all heard this. Many of us. We're really, 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 really big. We're very big spiritual people. Over there, we're much larger in our higher selves and our truer self than we are here. And because of that, it's really not important at all because our little small selves are completely empowered to use gravity and
now?
thought.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you're some so called big shot, somebody higher
Right.
self that never sends you Christmas cards anyway. You don't have their, you know, private phone number.
Right.
So what good are they doing you every day? I'm sure they are, but
Yeah.
we don't know that. As
No.
we are, we're totally empowered to make this stuff happen. So you don't have to go on a fast for 40 days and 40 nights to cleanse. You don't have to be pure. You don't have to be holy or wear white for the rest of your life. You can just do this manifesting thing and it will build it anyway. So
Mhm.
you don't need to be big shot number three. You don't need that concept that you're very, very big.
Right.
No, we're all equally empowered. And if you want to see some manifesting, go watch kids tell their parents what they want for Christmas. Now that's a bit of an
That's
unfair advantage because their parents are very much
right.
leaning
Yes.
towards that idea. But yeah, it's
Mm.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are allowed to make anything and everything that's ever been invented on this planet, not things that occurred naturally or God did them. If we invented it, it was nothing but a puff of smoke first, just like New York City. That's a lot of puffs of smoke, and lots of people team up and they build these skyscrapers.
Right.
Um, if I would leave you with something, it was something we
Please
said
leave us
before we.
something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's this thing people talk about the universe. I'm waiting for the universe to do this. I'm looking for the universe to clue me in on this and that. And I guess there's something to that. When I hear universe, I substitute that for God or a black
Yes.
box that's got things going
Yep.
around in it.
Yep.
Remember, we have life, we can make life, and we can make anything. Now, why would you wait for Aunt Mabel to send you something for Christmas when you can do it yourself right now?
Right.
Right?
Right.
We're responsible for us,
Yes.
for us. And please, please, please be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. And you can make things, you don't have to ask anybody's permission. You don't need an intercessor. You don't need an e-ticket, you know? You don't need a stamp on your head. Um, and I meant that as a Disneyland kind of way. No, I'm not trying to
Yes.
go
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
Hindus on that. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. We're not doing that.
No. No. No.
No,
No.
no, no, no. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are. You are empowered, and the responsibility is yours. And if you're not happy with the way things are, you can change that.
Yes.
And if you're happy with the
It's
way things are, congratulations, and you can spread that around. And some people are waking up in the middle of the night and things change inside them because they're going into their future every day. Once a day is all you got to do. And they have these little
right.
scenes in their movie and they're grateful for every scene.
Yeah.
You're over there by the water and this thing and that thing.
Mm.
And they wake up and they call me and they say, I haven't, and I've heard this phrase a number of times, I haven't
Right.
been this happy since high school. I said, were you manifesting that? And they said, no. I said, but you're in your future and everything's happy? They said, yeah. And I just woke up with it. It was kind of like, ta-da.
Yeah.
That's
It's
part
a
of your
lovely
future
thing.
coming in. Isn't it? Isn't it?
It's a lovely thing. And, Ken, it's so great to have you come on today and let people know that you don't have to be anybody special,
No,
even though we are,
no, you're not. Yes, you are.
that all of this is a gift that we've been given. It's
Yeah,
just learning to use it in the appropriate manner. And I can
yeah.
tell you, if you want to know more about Ken and his book, go to www.manifesting123.com. He has a Facebook page. He has a Manifesting 123 Facebook page. Ken lives in Colorado. Ken always has amazing community events at his home. Get on his list so that you can be connected to him, because you won't be sorry, I promise. I mean,
Well,
you won't be
well,
sorry.
thank you. And I do workshops. People call me, and I'll come out to
Yes,
their way and do workshops. And
good.
also, people have me do counseling for them. You can get a session on that. We can do that
Nice.
privately. And the thing that's the most fun for me on this whole thing is getting to talk with people like you. And I get letters from people. I sound like those old radio guys. Yes, we got letters coming in here at NBC. We have thousands of letters coming into Radio City. And the stories were fabulous. They're
Yeah.
small, they're big. They'll touch your
Yes.
heart. They break your heart. Um, so when you go up to manifesting123.com, go to the story page, and
Yes,
you
please.
can keyword search all those stories.
Right.
People fall in love, but don't tell everybody. All sorts of good things happen.
I can. It's just been amazing talking to you today. And I put more information about Ken on my website, www.kathybacon.com. And I will put his information about his contact information in case you want to contact him. Because I don't know, if you live in Colorado or anywhere in the world, like I'm in Thailand and I still am connected to Ken.
Oh,
There's no
yes,
way
we
I
are.
would ever not be. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about
Thank you.
manifesting and inspiring many of us to really look at that piece of us and do something about it and not make ourselves, but use what we have already
Yes. Yes.
to the
Yeah.
next level, really. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Well,
right.
thank you. We made a
Thank
good
you.
wave tonight. Pass it on.
We made
Thank
a
you.
good wave. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. See you next week on What's Your Story?